It got to be more than a shock. It has to be a consistent effort to keep it going. But how do we, are we going to look at revolution from that perspective? That it ain't just a big bang. It's management. It's a consistent effort and energy put forward to maintain the reality of something else. How consistent are these people? I see a lot of people that say they're about revolution, but they just had a bang moment. You hit a point of making, and they was on it for this year, for these few months. It was charged. But they burn out. You hit the point of making? They burn out. And the revolution was as long as that charge for them. But if they had looked at it realistically and got themselves into the consistent management of their human energetic resources, right? Then they could have kept putting it out in increments just to hold it throughout long-term establishment. Do you get the point I'm making? Because if it ain't a long-term establishment, it's already forgotten. It was a nice party. That's why you had a Black Panther party. It was a nice party. I enjoyed myself. Y'all enjoy yourself? Yes. It was a party. It was a revolutionary party. They told you what it was. No coincidence. But the party's in. You excited? The DJ's playing your song. And then everybody got to go. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get out of here. They had a revolutionary party. We need more than a revolutionary party. We need a revolutionary culture and a revolutionary way of life. And that's day to day, moment to moment. Diligence, determination, focus, persistence. Constantly getting back on your square of nation building over and over again, because where we have not been powerful as a nation, we have got off our square. And we can't be so pride and egotistical to believe that, hey, I don't get off my square. I'm 100% all the time representative of a revolution. And that's why we don't have one, because of that type of foolish thinking. But the type of honesty to see where we get off our square in those key moments, and begin to get on our square in them key moments, right? Then we see something like, damn, this is a nation. Whoa, this is a nation. And that's exactly what it is, based upon our energy. But when we get where we get off our square, the white man runs right his ass right on up in there, man. The Black Panthers got off their square. It was a nice party. They had it going for a minute. But then here come the drugs. Right? Here come just to any women. Not conscious women, any women. They'll do. Let's just keep it real. It became a party. Our organizations became parties. They was not sincere. They was not focused. They was not in the moment, challenging each and every moment. How many of us know we got to challenge each and every moment? You don't just get to the other side. You don't just make it. You keep making it. That goes back to our religious. They feel like God has created the universe. Then why am I still thinking up shit? If he created all this, why am I coming up with new shit every day? Because it's not made. We're making it. And anything that has us think that we just made it. That's romanticism. Everybody knows that if you don't cut the grass, it grows back. So if you cut the grass and think you made it, man, wait for a few weeks. And you won't be able to walk out your door. But if you want a real revolution against the grass, you got to have a dependable lawnmower. Right? Or otherwise, you ain't going to have no revolution. Because you're going to cut the grass, it's going to grow back. And you know what? If that grass is too strong and the blade is not consistent enough, then the grass will clog the damn blade up and the lawnmower won't work again. But we looking for this revolution that is a big bang. People don't want to play key positions. They sleep on the job. They don't want to play key positions. But we see the European, they go to work and they're consistent. That's why it's alive. Because 9 to 5, they there. School, they there. It's finals. I'm there. Revolution? I don't know right now. It's nice outside. Shit. I don't know this week. Shit. Today, I don't know. Y'all hear what I'm making? It's a reality. Y'all want revolution? I'm going to tell you what it is. If I didn't tell you what it is, then how could I be an effective contribution to this reality of this thing that we say we won't call revolution? How can I be an effective contribution to it happening if I can't come and talk about what it really is? I'm telling you what it really is. The Europeans' businesses and his stuff is lasting and constantly surviving because people are consistently on time every hour. Not missing a beat, fear of getting fired. Living solely for it. Everything else is a party. Everything else, I'm off. I said, well, how do you get off? I'm off from work. I'm off now. So that means that when you're not working, you're off? You look on to me. Y'all know what I'm making? But that's how irrelevant every aspect of their life is, and how important and significant their devotion to the European is that they will use terminologies like I'm off. You ain't been off. You still on. What they saying is their only relevance is to the European. Then they say, well, this is the weekend. Now, the week ain't ended. The week is still fucking going. How's this the weekend? You mean your devotion to white supremacy has ended, so nothing else is important. Your week is really over with. I'll come have a revolutionary party with y'all. This is my weekend. Let's kick it. Let's come hear King Noble shoot the shit. That's why we had a meeting so late. So you got to go back to work. Get the fuck out. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Because this is a constant maintenance. This is a constant reality. This is not a vacation. This is not just a weekend thing. This is a week beginning. This is the beginning of our week. This is the end of yours. Y'all hear the point that I'm making? So my point is that's how they look at reality. When people come into nation building, it's a vacation. And I say, well, what do you want? This is not an attack on nobody, but whatever energy you put in must be relevant to what you want. And if you say you want to see black people have something, then that means you must bring the type of diligence, the type of consistency to it, and the type of devotion to it so it can become what you want. Or two things. One, you don't want it, or two, you're incapable of creating it. And if you're incapable of creating it, I understand why you would beg somebody else and why you would march. I understand why you would have civil rights and go down and ask the judge for it. Because you're incapable of creating it. The judge is consistent. He's going to be there sitting in front of that bench every day. While he's sitting at that bench, we trying to figure out whether we're coming or going. And he has built gravitational pull with his black robe on, sitting behind that bench every day. He has built up gravity. Every day he's there. He's built up momentum, centrifugal force, right? Sitting behind that bench. And he's sucking all of our people into it. And you think we're not going to have the same type of center force to do it? We might say this is the nation center. Why can't we call it that? Because it's a building? No, because we centered on nation building. And when somebody come here, they pulled into that center. And as long as we centered in it, everything, moves towards the center. It's a reality. If we on bullshit, then we see why people come in here on bullshit, because that's the center of what we're doing, right? And if they come in here and they being pulled on nation building, it's because that's what we centered on. They will reflect whatever we centered on. And when we become so centered on it, and we draw so many people into that center what? Begins to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And that center goes from this space to this community, to this neighborhood, to this state. Right? Because the center what? Grows. Is that correct? But we got to be centered. We have to become a center. We have to become consistent. And what we desire, what we want, is challenging us to become something. And every moment we have to embrace the challenge. We go through negative experiences. Every moment we're challenged with negative experiences. Every moment. And how quick we get over them will determine how powerful we'll be and how much we can recenter the things that we felt like was negative against us. Do you feel what I'm making? Because the things that are coming to us that are negative are dependent on nothing but depending on us to recenter them. It's called polarity. It's just polarity. It is the positive centers the negative. Is this right? It keeps them in balance. So anything that's coming to us negatively is only asking for us to recenter it. But you know what? We can only center it based on how centered we are. If we're uncentered, then we get spent off into negativity into someday. Hopefully we run into something that can center us. Do y'all hear the point that I'm making? And then sometimes it gets so negative to the opposite pole happens. And we're centered by the negatives. Do y'all hear the point I'm making? It's like somebody running, and then they just fall out. Well, I'm sick. I got this cold. I got this. I can't get out the bed. Well, negativity has centered you to rebuild yourself. Is that right? So sometimes negativity has the reverse effect of centering people on positives. And if it wasn't for extreme negatives, some people wouldn't be positive. Did y'all hear what I'm saying? Some people needed extreme negatives to become positives. If they hadn't went through all these traumatic situations and went through these near-death experiences, they wouldn't be positive. And the people who aren't positive are the people who have not came across those centering experiences. Because when they run into it, they say, wait a minute now, hold up. I'm going to either be centered or be destroyed. Is this right? That's the moment. That's what it chooses. That's what that moment is demanding of them. So my point is, nation building and revolution is something consistent. And each and every one of us, there is no greater eyes and lower U's in nation building. In each and every moment, each and every one of us is being challenged. We're being challenged to be centered, to be focused, to be effective, to be impactful. When your enemies can run you, you know why they can do it? Because you're not centered. If you study martial arts, they always tell you that your stance is the most important part of the damn martial arts. Why? Because you're centered. It's hard to pull something down that's centered properly. Is that correct? So when we achieve our center based upon our conscious paradigm, then no enemy, no matter how big, can move us. Because we're centered. Our minds won't even give us anything else than the fact that we're victorious. That's the only battle we can win. Did y'all hear the point I'm making? When your mind is so focused that you can't perceive anything else but your victory, because you have only created that consciousness of that by your daily meditation. We call this a temple. Not because we're religious, but because we're meditating on something up in here. Some people think a temple, they think, well, this is a science temple. This is some holy temple, or a Catholic church, or a Buddhist temple. This is simply a place where we're meditating on black love, black power, black nationalism, black supremacy, black divinity. It's a constant meditation for us. And when you meditate, the key is what? To get rid of scattered thoughts. And when you get rid of scattered thoughts, eventually you get to just seeing nothing but black. Because now you're not caught on the thoughts. That's what the meditation is in our temple. We're getting our mind to a level where we don't see nothing but black. power, divinity, love, supremacy. Y'all get the point I'm making? When a marshal,